Welcome back to Behind the Box. Today, we're going to take a look at Czech Games Edition's word game, Trapwords.
In Trapwords, players will split into two teams, each trying to be the first to reach the end of the dungeon and defeat the monster. You advance by avoiding traps and identifying secret words. Each round, one player will take on the role of clue giver for their team. They need to give clues to help their team to guess a word, avoiding a list of trap words set by the opposite team, but they don't know what's on that list. The teams have 8 rounds to defeat the monster.
This game feels very familiar, like an old friend, because just like in a lot of word games, you're trying to give clues to your team to help them guess a word. And you're restricted by something in the kind of clues that you can give. So in the case of Trapwords, you're not only restricted by the secret words that the opponents are listing, but also your imagined list of what those words could be. And so in your efforts to try and dodge these common words that you're thinking of, you might find that you've just led yourself right into a trap.
Yeah, so for example, in one of the games that we played, Lindsay had to get her team to guess the word fencing. Now, initially, our team, we were throwing out words like, oh, maybe they're going to say sword or dueling. But I felt like they were too obvious and Lindsay wasn't going to say those words. So I actually thought of a movie that we both love called I Love You Man, which features a lot of fencing scenes in that movie. And so I said to my team, right, let's put down the word love as one of our potential trap words. Lindsay gets back, sits down with her team. The first thing she says, have you seen the movie I Love You Man? And I was like, that's it, that's amazing. Got you straight away because she avoided those common words.
It becomes like a mind game that persists through the rest of the rounds. Mm-hmm. So you're then thinking to yourself, oh, well, that means I can't ever mention another movie that we've watched recently because he'll just trap me with it. Or does he just want me to think that he'll trap me with it? And so I avoid those words. So then does that actually mean that I can use those words because he's not going to bother using them because he'll think that I'll be thinking that he'll be using them? It's kind of like that episode of Friends.
They don't know that we know they know we know.
So I know what you might be thinking, well, what if no team ever gets any of these clues correct? Or what if you keep hitting these trap words? Will it go really slowly? Will it take forever? The game actually does a really nice job of avoiding that. Because if both teams ever both fail the clue for that round, the monster will actually move one step closer to you, which ensures that the game will never take more than 8 rounds. And if you do find that there's one team that does start advancing and getting further ahead than another team, they'll start hitting the curses sooner because throughout the dungeon, some of the rooms will be cursed and they'll have like a crazy rule they've got to apply for that round. And the further in you get, the more trap words the enemy team gets to throw at you, which is just a nice way, and in our experience has meant that it's always felt very balanced, and no team has ever just ran ahead with a victory.
Yeah, and these curses, they add this level of chaos and hilarity to the game. Like, try giving clues, but you can't say a word that starts with the letter S. It's pretty funny. And once you do reach the boss, each boss is going to have a different rule that applies when you're trying to give your clues. So if you're the clue giver, maybe you can't say more than 5 words.
Yeah, it's these bosses and the curses and just the overall amount of cards that have so many words on them that give it loads of variety. And every time you play will just be a little bit different, a little bit more challenging for a different reason and a little bit more unique. And it's just really, really fun. And the game has a nice aspect of fantasy or generic as the options for the words. So if you have a team of people or a group of people, they're all happy to play with the fantasy words, then you'll all do fantasy. But if there's people that don't really know fantasy terms and words very well, you can just play with generic words, which is just a nice addition to the game and just makes it a lot more accessible, I think.
Yeah, we love our word games, and so of course we love this game. So we couldn't really actually find anything negative to say about it. So we just wanted to, I guess, let all those word game haters out there who may have played Codenames or Decrypto
yeah.
and they didn't like it. Well, this probably won't change your mind. But for anyone out there who's like us and loves word games, this is going to be right up your alley.
Yeah, and I think the mind game aspect of this, that idea of, do I put down a word that I think they'll say based on a previous clue they gave, but maybe they'll know that I'll do that, and so I won't do that. That, I think, is what kind of sets this apart a little bit, because this has a place, I think, in our collection. Even though we have Decrypto and we have 3 copies of Codenames, I really like that aspect
Yeah.
of this, and it makes it feel different enough.
Yeah.
And there's nothing more satisfying than when your clue is fencing and you just say French sword fighting, where you got to poke the other person with the tip of the blade, and the other team goes, "We didn't write any of those down."
I thought you were going to avoid those common words.
Yeah, that's the most straightforward explanation you could have said, and we just avoided it because we figured you wouldn't say any of that. That's so satisfying and really funny.
Yeah.
So, yeah. If you want to know more about this game, we'll leave a link in the description down below to the Board Game Geek page. Have you played Trapwords yourself? If so, what do you think of it? We'll also leave links to our social media as usual. But until the next one, we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Of all the reviews that we could ever do, I don't think we'll ever run out.
No.
Yeah, like, if we only had like 6 games, this would be a really lackluster channel. Trapwords players will take on the... we'll split. I was going to say take on the role of 2 teams, but you don't. Sorry.
They'll take on the role of traps.
They will...
Looking for words.